Alright friends, it's T and I'm back, man, with another video. It's on Jason Blaha again, their favorite gym slave, lifting gym slave, Blaha, strength and baloney fitness. Yeah, man, let's see what he says, the Bumbaclot man. He says, endomorphs, mesomorphs, and ectomorphs are not real. Endomorphs, mesomorphs, and ectomorphs are not real. Bro, they're not real. Oh my god. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about this. This is crazy.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys. Let me get a sip of my water first.
Sip of that Kool-Aid.
Get my radio voice going and let's talk about this. All right.
Yeah.
This is one of those topics to where for some reason, people in the fitness world,
yes,
a few of them have chosen to perpetuate something that has been debunked, that's not real, that's made fun of in science. Like if you were to even bring this up, you would just be laughed at. And when I say it's debunked, I mean it's been debunked like 60 years ago. I mean, again, this was never real science, and that is this idea that there are endomorphs, mesomorphs, and ectomorphs. Yeah.
And they exist because they talk about it in science, and I've seen these body types, and they perform differently. Yes, they're different. They're all different. There are mesomorphs, endomorphs, and ectomorphs. Yes, Blaha, I'm sorry to break this to you, but there is.
You get people who say silly stuff like, but I see people who fit these categories. You mean you see people whose lifestyle makes them either obese, makes them really skinny, or makes them muscular and jacked? Okay? You're seeing people's life.
No, they know that mesomorphs have more fiber count than ectomorph. An ectomorph has less fiber count and more type 1 muscle fibers, and mesomorphs have more type 2. And so do these endomorphs. They also, but they just carry a slightly bit more fat, and they have the same amount of muscle as the mesomorph. Yes, it is true. It's true.
Style. The problem with these body structures is that there's this implication that came with it that it's genetic and that it's part of your body structure. In other words,
I don't know if it's DNA or what, genetic, what do you want to, whatever you want to call that. I don't know what it is, but it does exist.
The idea with a lot of it when it was first proposed, and this is what people have continued to try to do in some of the bodybuilding and fitness world, they tried to propose that, well, endomorphs have a bigger, thicker frame on top of it, right? So they're big boned.
Endomorphs, they're usually fatter with high muscle fiber count. Yeah. Endomorphs and mesomorphs, there's slightly bit about a fat there, but more muscle fiber count too. And ectomorphs, less than the other two in fiber count, and they're super skinny.
We know that's nonsense, because when you've seen a morbidly obese person who gets really skinny, they look like, if they've lost weight, they look like a quote ectomorph. Okay, it's not true. Same thing. Well, an ectomorph is...
Not necessarily. It's if you starve them to death, of course.
Someone who's really skinny and it's hard for them to gain muscle because they have a light frame.
No, that's not why.
They're just skinny. Oftentimes they're light.
No, that's not why. It's because you have more type 1 muscle fibers as an ectomorph. That's the reason. You understand me?
Because sometimes they're tall. But what happens when they lift weights? The ectomorph turns into some of the biggest, strongest people on the face of the earth. And this is what people don't...
Not necessarily. You talk about drug addicts taking a drug, an ectomorph that took a drug, got to be some of the biggest, strongest people on the earth. That's not true. I've seen a mesomorph, a high school student, fucking squat 1,000 pounds. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I mean, you're a classic example. Mm-hmm. All right. If someone doesn't believe...
Yes, what's a classic example?
...that an ectomorph turns into a mesomorph with lifestyle change...
An ectomorph cannot turn into a mesomorph. They have to grow more type 2 muscle fibers to keep up with the count that the mesomorph has. And they have more type 2 muscle fiber count than the ectomorph. Okay?
Look no further than the mountain, Gregor Clegane from Game of Thrones, also the real world known as Hathor, right?
What about Hathor? He's a big, tall dude, yeah. I would say he's a type of mesomorph. And so is Eddie.
Did over a 500 kilogram deadlift while weighing over 400 pounds. Guy was like at his biggest 6'8", something like 430 pounds. Does he look like an ectomorph? People say, no, that's the exact opposite. But if you go by genetics, then he is, because in high school, he was a skinny, lanky, underweight basketball player. Was he not?
I don't know what the fuck he was, bro. I can only tell you this. In the natural world, a mesomorph would always be stronger than an ectomorph. You understand? Always. And so will a mesomorph. I mean, an endomorph will be stronger than an ectomorph. So what the fuck are you talking about? You're talking about people that are ectomorphs on drugs, is fucking cheating, or practice strength. They went to a gym and they had to practice to get strong. Well, the mesomorph, they didn't have to. They're naturally strong.
So do people understand the issue with this? This is all lifestyle. The problem is that...
This is all lifestyle? So lifestyle created that body type. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it did because we started farming. Who the hell knows what happened? I don't know.
Because it's an old, outdated concept that for some reason bodybuilding books and magazines chose to pick up after it had been debunked. It came out of phrenology. It was used like studying criminals in prison. Some psychologists came up with this concept and started applying it, and he was trying to find personality traits linked to body structure, and he came up with these concepts. And then where people get it more diluted, they're like, okay, well, people are...
I thought it was facial, but okay, body types.
Different mix of them, and yeah, because you got to make all sorts of crazy mixes because these things aren't real. Do different people have slightly different bone structures? Of course we do. Yes, people have different bone structures. But if you start basing it on bone thickness...
And muscle structures, too. Not just bone, dude.
Look, I got little bitty small wrists. I'm not an ectomorph. And as a little kid, I was skinny.
Are you struggling?
You know why? Because I was sick. I had some medical issues as a child. Tend to be underweight as a result. I was skinny.
Okay, he was sick as a child. Look, man, I was skinny as a child because I'm an ectomorph, bro. I was skinny. Kind of had a muscular build, but I was still skinny. Because I'm an ectomorph. Yeah.
For a long time. Then I got bigger and thicker. But just in general, this whole idea is complete nonsense. It's been debunked because you've seen people go through the whole gambit of the structures. Because their lifestyle changes. And the problem is that it tries to make people think that they're predisposed to these conditions. They're the only one that might have some degree of truth when people say, well, maybe there's some people who are more mesomorphic. Well, no, they're not mesomorphic because these are fake things. They're not real.
Nah, they're real, man. Science has already talked about this a long time ago. Man, he loves making up stuff, eh? Jason Blaha, he loves faking shit, man. He just loves to pretend as if he knows something. And he brings no proof of this stuff. He just tells you, hey, man, it's fake. It's not real and all that. No, there's a mesomorph there, but he's not real. It's fake. That guy over there, the ectomorph, he's fake too. And ectomorphs are the strongest people on the planet. This is fucking weird, man. Ectomorphs are the weakest of the latter two on the planet because they're mostly type 1 and they're skinny. And the mesomorphs have more muscle fiber count, and so do the endomorphs. So what the fuck is he talking about?
Are there people who are genetically prone to gaining muscle a bit better? Absolutely. Do they have better muscle?
No, they're not. No. You gain it like everybody else through an adaptation, a repair and a remodel. If you don't get an adaptation, no muscle grows, zero muscle. It all works the same on everybody. It's bullshit. Can one gain more artificial muscle than the other eating carbohydrates? Yeah, they could. See what I mean? You can gain a lot of artificial muscle growth and convince people and say, that's real muscle, bro. Look, and I ate a bunch of, next thing you know, you ate a bunch of bowls of potatoes.
insertions and look more like a bodybuilder more easily. Yes, of course they do.
Look at him. He's injecting himself with artificial hormones. They're not doing fuck all, man. They're drawing a bunch of glycogen in his muscle, giving him a puffy look. And he's just constantly lifting in the gym, trying to lower his body fat. So he thinks if he lowers his body fat, that's what's going to create this beautiful dad bod to daddy bod bullshit. When meanwhile, that's not how it works, man. You have to kind of transform your body through a series of adaptations. That's what makes it look good and better. But he doesn't understand that. He thinks, well, if I just lose body fat, I'm going to look beautiful. No, he's going to look more and more like a melted candle, bro.
Those are relatively rare individuals, though. So you're going to take a 1% of the population statistical outlier and try to pretend that proves a debunked silly theory. Like, you can't just say, some outlier somewhere in the world proves this theory that all people fall into these categories and that they're real categories because some people gain muscle easier. Come on. Because a tiny segment of the population, that doesn't fit with the whole big picture, though.
Somebody gains muscle easier than the other person, they gain it through muscle damage. That's how muscle is gained. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Adaptations, yes, through adaptations, dude.
And then we have the whole issue of why did we all change into endomorphs? Are people implying, when they say this, I mean, use some common sense. Let's not even go to the fact that it's laughed at and debunked and not based on real science. The proof is in front of you.
It's based on real science. What are you talking about?
All right, look at America right now. Okay? Look at our obesity rate. As a society, America has turned into what people would be trying to say, well, they're just endomorphs. No, we're just fat.
No, they're talking about the fiber count. Yeah, they did tests. They figured it out.
You want the proof it's not genetic? Go look at the grandparents of any of these people, the great-grandparents of any of these people.
Oh, my God.
So you're telling me if they came from more impoverished, because, again, the U.S. is a country of immigrants.
Man, they bred slaves. It's a known fact. They would get the biggest slave to breed with all the other slave women so they can create these monster babies. Get it? That's why you find these basketball players, they're so tall, so huge, so built, like holy shit. Yeah, because they're what's left over. They were bred that way. They bred taller, bigger people together to make bigger, stronger people to work as slaves.
We all understand this, right? My family are immigrants. So you look at it from that perspective, so then you trace them back.
He was sick when he was a kid. He's sick now as an adult. He's a poor specimen, okay? He comes from a long lineage of garbage DNA, the DNA. They ate shit, and then they created this shit after they ate a bunch of shit. That's it.
Or is everyone saying that all...
And what does he do? He continues eating the slave diet, the shit. He eats the shit too. Makes him even worse.
These people who were skinnier during the Great Depression, whose ancestors were here, and they all lost weight and got skinnier. So, well, if you look at those pictures from that time, all those people's ancestors were ectomorphs, so then they should all genetically be ectomorphs, all these obese people. What? You go back and look at all different people who are immigrants.
What? He's making this shit up. Man, you couldn't get better than this. This guy's hilarious to listen to.
From different regions, and if they came from slightly poorer countries, see all these ectomorphs, if you want to use that term, then they've come to America and they magically, their genes changed? Their bone structures and genetics changed by moving to America? No, the lifestyle changed.
Man, I don't know who they were fucking to change to mix up their DNA with. Maybe they were fucking your grandma, man, dude. Who the fuck knows? What the fuck is he talking about? The lifestyle changed. It's who they bred with changed. That's who they fucked.
It is environment and lifestyle. It is not genetic traits that people...
It is absolutely genetic. It is who you've been fucking. It's a known fact. They use it. Listen, there's a guy in South America. He's the most famous slave, a black dude. He was like over 7 feet tall or something, and they had him breed with all these women. He bred him to make these bigger, stronger kids. Yeah, bred him like crazy, like a dog. So that's who they marry with, the people who they marry with, and who they mix their DNA with is beyond me, bro. I don't know. I can't tell you shit.
Born with, okay? It is lifestyle combined with environment, because your environment impacts your lifestyle.
It is not. It is who you've been fucking with.
On a massive level. Hopefully we all understand this. Right?
Man, he even talked about it before. He talked about fucking cavemen and this and that, and you know, previous ancestors, how we mixed, you know, how we mixed with these other humans and stuff, or non-humans you would call them, or whatever, bro. Fuck, man, my mind is not working today because I'm a little bit sick. I got a flu. Whatever. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So he mentioned that in a video, you know what I mean, about our past history, about, you know, whatever. So what the fuck is he talking about? Now he says it's lifestyle, so it has nothing to do with breeding with different groups of people, right? Humans. Give me fucking break.
Unless you're going to get into certain things with social Darwinism, then you hopefully understand that environment has an enormous impact on behaviors.
Absolutely not.
Okay? Not just genetic. All right, and that includes everything from crime rates to all sorts of stuff. Environmental influences, body type, everything. So again, this is a silly debunked idea, and if you have any influencer out there who is telling you this is a real thing and it's not debunked, they're lying to you. They're ignorant. They read some book from the 1980s in the bodybuilding world and didn't bother to investigate further and took it at face value. Therefore, they're probably ignorant. All right, guys, that's really all I have to say on that today.
Well, man, that's just as bad as the shit he was talking about Arnold in his fucking book, man. This is just more fake stuff by Jason Blaha. Ridiculous shit. See you in the next one, friends. Not informative at all. Just more baloney. I'll see you in the next one. Don't even know. Man, I can't believe I did this video. Ciao, friends.